okay? That's the fucking seed, okay?
Jesus Christ.
That's the fucking seed.
Jesus Christ.
It smells like a zoo.
He's gonna look away.
It is about that time again. It is the biggest game of the season. It's the biggest game in America, but tonight, the biggest game in America goes to Europe. There will be the first ever VFL European Franchise League, main league, Super Bowl winner of our history. Fellas, it's going to be a great game. We're going to do a little bit of build-up and then get right into one game, of course, tonight, and it is the game, the Super Bowl. Of course, it is the Cincinnati Bengals and Hughes 96 against the San Francisco 49ers and Killian. Of course, tonight, whoever wins this game will walk away with this beautiful prize right here. The £120, $150 trophy, custom engraved to add to their mantelpiece. Dirty Dave has 2 of them. We know that Noof has 1 of them. We know that Vape has 1 of them. Banned, but forever forged in legacy, sadly. Tonight, one of these 2 Europeans will take that Lombardi trophy home and will have that hoisted in their possession as probably one of the greatest individual sporting moments of their gaming lives. It's a game in which I think when you look about, the history of both of these 2, that Hughes has taken to like a duck to water. Only started playing Madden back in Madden 24, and now here he is in his first ever Super Bowl. But then you look at the other side of the coin, Killian, a lifelong die-hard 49ers fan, who makes tonight his 3rd Super Bowl appearance. The difference is Killian in those Super Bowl appearances 0-2. Tonight, will it be the dreaded 0-3? Will it be back-to-back losses for Killian in Super Bowls? Made last season, Super Bowl season 4 against the New England Patriots, and Dirty Dave lost that one. Is this big game one step too far for him? Will he handle the blitz and the defense of Hughes like none other can, or like no other can? Or will he tonight overcome that mental hurdle? Will he maybe tonight overcome that difficulty of performance in big games and finally get his hands on this prized, coveted trophy, this prized award that stands, keep in mind, at about 2 feet, 2.5 feet tall? It's a big trophy. It's a big trophy, but have some mantelpiece room in your house, whoever wins this one tonight. Let's do our kind of build-up then in terms of the numericals. Of course, it is the game of the season. The spread set at 6.5 under to Hughes. Hughes comes in tonight as the favorite. 16 wins, 1 loss in the season. That only loss has come to the Jacksonville Jags over at MB's neck of the woods. Of course, MB, the only man that has had the antidote, the answer, the secret, the jigsaw puzzle solution to Hughes 96. Not even Dirty Dave, the 2-time Super Bowl winner, had the answers to it. Killian, though, will say tonight, I have the answers. The spread looks like this. Only 3 people back in the underdog tonight. Myself, Scarata, and Biwo, who, of course, I think knows Killian from those escapades over in the North American leagues. Everyone else, though, has played the pick'em tonight, has gone simply for the Cincinnati Bengals and the Welshman Hughes 96. Wales versus Ireland. No Englishman in the final, so make of that what you will. Of course, when you look at the seasons, these 2 have had 12-5 compared to 16-1. People will say, the AFC is where you go to cut your mustard. The AFC is the more difficult side of the bracket in the playoffs to perform in, but people will say it's top heavy. People will say during the regular season, maybe the AFC teams have a little bit more of a padded record because, the lower end teams of the AFC are still so raw. They're still so new. They're still learning. Tonight, all of that gets displaced as the best in the AFC takes in the best in the NFC. Of course, we'll go with the underdog first. The San Francisco 49ers, Killian, of course, comes in today with the 12th best offensive yards-based team or game team, the 10th best passing offense, the 20th best rushing offense. Considering he's got Christian McCaffrey, that may surprise a few, surprises me. Defensively, 3rd in the league for points, 7th in the league for yards, 6th in the league for passing defense, 14th in the league for rushing defense. So tonight will the run game be where he becomes unstuck, becomes undone. There was one big injury in the NFC Championship game, and that is his strong safety, Hufanga. The strong safety tonight is out of this Super Bowl matchup, which means it'll be down to the likes of Jair Brown. It'll be down to the likes of Kamari Ramsey, maybe even Malik Mustafa to pick up where the big man is not able to perform. Only other injury, Josh Dobbs. But is he ever really going to get a snap of the ball when Avery Johnson is in the form of his life? Probably not. Christian McCaffrey is in full health. Despite having a shattered shoulder blade, which should have kept him out for the season, he recovered in game week 4. He's here tonight through the art of black magic. He's got George Kittle. He's got Brandon Ayuk. He's got Deebo Samuel. He's got Dominic Puny. He's got Jonah Savaliena. I can never even say that name, but he's so damn good, the Samoan. You'll be thinking it's Umaga from WWE on the field. You've got Nick Bosa, you've got Tyreek Williams, you've got all of these fantastic. Fred Warner, who broke the interception record in one game this season. It is a stacked team. It is Killian's 49ers team. It will feel just that extra special if he can get it done here today with the team that he's supported since he's been a little boy. Of course, though, going over to the other side of things, the AFC champion, the Cincinnati Bengals, will say tonight it's not a game of storylines. It's a game of who can play Madden better, and he believes, whether it be cheesy, meta, whatever, that he can play the game better than Killian. Tonight, Hughes, 16-1 in the regular season, comes in with the best offensive points tally, the 3rd most yards, the 4th best passing offense, the 16th best rushing offense. Defensively, look at these numbers. 1st for points, 1st for yards, 1st for pass defense, 2nd for rush defense. He is a man in form when it comes to that defensive ability. When you go and look at his team, he does have a couple of injuries to keep in mind. Jamar Chase, is that accurate? Is that not? The torn labrum says it is, so 2 weeks out still for Jamar Chase. Eric Orr Jr. has been the man to look out for. Just look at these career numbers or these season numbers for Eric Orr Jr. The tight end has been in form, 18 touchdowns in this season, 17 more than the previous 2 seasons. So that there is the main weapon for Cincinnati tonight that Killian will need to keep an eye on. Of course, you've got other great options. So you've got T. Higgins at wide receiver 2, which will be tonight the wide receiver 1. You've got Mims, you've got Trent Brown, you've got an incredible D-line of Trey Hendrickson, Miles Murphy, Chris Jenkins Jr., you've got linebackers of Logan Wilson, Ruben Hippolyte II, you've got the secondary, of course, which is just phenomenal. Look at this secondary. Geno Stone, Jordan Battle, DJ Turner II, all 3 of them 88 overall. Cam Taylor-Britt is a cornerback 3 at 85 overall. Cornerback 2, 85 overall is not too shabby either. Of course, though, it comes down to not your team. It comes down to a blend of your team, your ability, Madden nonsense. Who comes away with it tonight? That's the only thing that matters. In terms of how these two fared in the playoffs, you can see that here. Hughes beating Rolly Football 37-29, then beating Scarata 38-28, and now tonight we'll have his 3rd game in the playoffs against the San Francisco 49ers. Killian had 1 more game extra. He was the 2 seed in the NFC. He tonight comes in with a playoff record looking like this. Beat Douse 30-12 in the wildcard game. Beat Papi Gaucho's Washington Commanders 45-14 in the divisional game, and then one early run today against myself at the Philadelphia Eagles 24-17. Tonight, he is hoping that 3rd time is a charm. Tonight, he is hoping that the Super Bowl comes back to the Republic of Ireland. Of course, for this game, we go to Neon as we always do. The AI, taking into account all the stats, all the numbers, all the numericals, say that this game tonight will end 38-29 to the Cincinnati Bengals. Neon saying that Killian will lose his 3rd Super Bowl, his 2nd in a row, by 11 points. Only 1 interception to be thrown. That to come from Joe Burrow, last season's MVP. With that, though, we can join Scarata in the booth. He's with us tonight. Maybe a Wild Batistuta will be there with us also. Let's go over and see what these guys make of this one tonight. It is Super Bowl 5. Kickoff is imminent. Let's see who brings home the coveted silver here tonight. Dan, welcome. It's the losers booth. The loser in the AFC Championship, the loser in the NFC Championship. Who do you like here tonight, Dan, and why?
I think it's going to come down to defense. I think when we talk about defense, we look at like a complete performance. I think Killian, and I know the narrative around this one is Killian's coming and lost multiple Super Bowls already, but I just think that he's got kind of the complete defense. I know missing Hafunga is a big miss for him, but he's got guys that can step up into that spot. I think if Hughes is held to under 25 points, I think this one heads to the West Coast into the Bay Area, over to San Francisco.
Okay. Batty, you just joined us late. Traffic to the stadium was big, obviously. For you, Batty, same question to you. Yep. 49ers or Bengals, and why? What are you liking tonight?
I want the Niners to win, but I mean, my heart says Niners, but my head says Bengals, so yeah, it's a tough one for me to call here, but I think just Killian's been in this caliber of game a couple of times, and I think he'll be just slightly more relaxed of the two. So I think that might be, a little thing like that might just be the sort of defining moment between these two. Both had a fantastic season. You could say that, Killian's coming back off, a little blip in form, but Hughes is like lights out all season, and his steroids is up to get here, so that's my reasoning.
I mean, well, from a perspective as well, Batty, you've got this unique perspective. You weren't playing against either of these two earlier on, but you watched both of the NFC and the AFC Championship earlier on, from what I understand. Who impressed you more in those games, and why? Or did they both equally impress you? What did you like about them in their win against the Eagles and their win against the Chargers?
Yeah, I think you're right. They both equally impressed me in kind of different ways. Like, Killian is dealt with like a lot of kind of adversity through his game, so like he goes through like patches where just nothing's working, and he kind of come back and sort of worked his way back into the game. Well, not back into the game, but just kind of sorted himself out, and you wouldn't have seen him do that a couple of seasons ago, I don't think. And as for Hughes, he's undoubtedly just kept himself in a game against what you could argue is the best defense in the league this season. So yeah, he brought it out when he needed it to, though, and it's just about making the big plays in the right moments for these two, honestly. I think that's, the reason why they're both here. That's just the story of the playoffs, though, isn't it? You gotta make these big plays in the big moments, so yeah, congrats.
And I think it's an important factor there as well, down like Batters do at the stadium. As it said, it's about moments, but it's also about seizing opportunity. We saw Killian in game week 7 and 8, 17 and 18, lost. Shockingly, you could say, I think it's fair to say now, shockingly lost to the Lions and Momo, and then I think lost to Jack 17. No, it was Deanie and the Chiefs, Deanie and the Chiefs, yeah. And then the Jack 17 led Rams. His head was down, he was completely out of it. Do you think that when Dave got eliminated, the boogeyman that's beat him twice, that kind of re-sparked his belief that he could go all the way here and win this? Do you think if Dave was still in at that stage, that Killian would be here? Do you think he's going to become alive at the right time? Do you think that was a pivotal part of this playoff story?
I think Killian's done well just to continuously get back to this game. I mean, you gotta think that at some point he's gonna get it over the line, right? But I also think that, for both of these guys, it's not necessarily the performance from the championship game, but it's the moments. So it's exactly as you said, it's coming up with the big moment where maybe you're not playing at your best, but still finding a way to win, and that's exactly what both of these guys did. So I would argue to say that both of these guys are probably coming into this game not feeling super great about their championship game performance, but at the same time, they got the job done. So if they can do that, when they're not at their best, let's see how they go head-to-head against each other.
That's a fair comment. I mean, that's the other thing as well about you talked about those defensive numericals just before you got here. Hughes, defensively in the NFL, first for yards, first for points, first for pass defense, second for rush defense. Is that maybe a concern point for Killian tonight? How do you bypass this wall of orange? How do you consistently get the first down against Hughes?
Yeah, that's he's gonna have to be. Your play calling's just gonna have to be on point. I mean, both of them.
Oh, that's
you know,
brilliant from
plays like
McCaffrey.
that. You know,
Oh,
yeah,
that was special.
Yeah, like finding gaps like that. You know, getting to grips with the timings of your routes, and you know, seeing where your opponent's decent at kind of blocking the field, see what the tendencies are in the first half. I expect this contest to get a wee bit tighter in the second half. Just feels like, when these two match up, that's the way that I kind of predict it to go. Like, first half might be more guns blazing than the second half, but yeah, once those knobs start to kick in, I think they'll start to, the illusion of the field getting shorter and shorter for these two will be fucking massive. It was a good run now by Kill.
Yeah, said he was chopping me up with that a little bit earlier on. Said he was running the play action, and when I thought he was going to kind of throw and I followed the correct side, he was then using his quick legs of Avery Johnson to get over and through. I mean, likewise, I was as well. So that, I think Shador Sanders did the most rushing yards ever today against Killian. So that was a kind of nice change from myself. But right now, 1 yard line, Hughes in the area where, of course, he's been so dangerous all season. Red zone defense has been a forte of his. Of course, the user on battle. Can he find a way through? The answer is no, and he's actually dropped for a loss of 2. McCaffrey takes it to the 3 now, 3rd and goal. And this is where you really need maybe some of those, I wouldn't say trick plays, Dan, but you need some of those kind of surprising plays that maybe Hughes hasn't seen before. You've got to find a way to just punch that ball over the line. 3 yards doesn't sound like a lot, but in a Super Bowl game, to get the first score of a Super Bowl game, it's going to feel like an absolute mile, isn't it?
Yeah, I look for George Kittle here to just find a spot in the end zone to safely sit down. And it's been Killian's man all season. You have to think that he might get the ball right here, or Christian McCaffrey out of the backfield.
Where's this one going to go? Where's he looking? Throw across himself, maybe. No! Touchdown! That's absolute timing. And that's exactly what you want to see from the NFC champion. Carried it out to the wide side, the right-hand side. Carried and carried and carried. There's a part of me there, Batty, that really thought he was going to get close to an illegal forward pass there. Left that one up just at the right time, Tayyid.
Yeah, he did. I think that's pretty much perfect timing in terms of when you're throwing it, and, the only kind of time that I looked like he was slightly open there, but wait to use your legs to kind of create that angle, go outside of your receiver. We saw his other receiver kind of run into the middle of the end zone to create a little bit of a gap for Ayuk. So yeah, great use of multiple kind of avenues of his offense here, and now you're going to see this Bengals offense. It's also been lights out probably since the start of the bloody franchise, to be honest. So yeah, I'm going to see how this Niners defense copes with all these absolute playmaking beauts on the Bengals.
I mean, the thing is that, so we know that Jamar Chase is fit. It's just a neon bug that says he isn't fit. But the main target, as I said earlier on as well, Batty, is Eric Hall Jr., 18 touchdowns for the year. I mean, he is physical. He's a specimen. I mean, we can just talk to Dan. I mean, you said earlier on, Dan, when playing, you just felt like you were getting dunked on by Eric Hall Jr. time and time again. That's what he's got to hope on, the physicality. And that's a great reception there from T. Higgins. Corner out works like a charm.
Yeah, that's just more because Ella Gilman's short and is terrible at the game. But, I mean, other than that, I think Hughes has built this offense exactly the way he likes it, and exactly the Bengals like it too. You look at the Bengals in real life, I mean, they are explosive, they're big, they're fast. I mean, everything that you could possibly need. You don't know where that ball is going. The emergence of Chase Brown this season has been fantastic from them, moving on from Joe Mixon, and he's picked up exactly where Joe Mixon left Cincinnati and went to Houston. So this team is just absolutely rock full, and that's
gonna be no covered well. Yeah, there's Eric Hall Jr. again. Makes use of that corner out and uses that physicality just to kind of tower over this 49ers team again. I said to Killian on the run back, I think the big thing about this 49ers team, since it is in rebuild after Dio's kind of financial meltdown before he left and departed the team, not the fastest, not the most kind of speedy, but very physical. Do you think that's going to be maybe a problem, or do you think that's going to be a benefit for Killian today?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a problem, but I think it's like, with the loss of kind of overall speed. I think his defense is probably up there in terms of like mental attributes. He's got a lot of kind of vets that have been here before, a lot of guys that sort of high play rec. So I expect both defenses kind of get tighter as the game goes on. But like, and on to the point about Eric Hall Jr., I think when you've got such a beautiful 1-2 punch at wide receiver, when you get to the red zone, they attract all the attention, which has just enabled him to, use Eric Hall Jr. and maybe he gets a mismatch because of that. There's lots of people in this league that tend to double a number one receiver. So, and if you do that, normally the tight end of the running back gets free as a consequence. So, as you say, the emergence of Chase Brown this season, and you could argue a little bit last season, I think it's only right that you see another player kind of emerge in this team.
Oh my goodness me, what's a heavy hit, but that's a touchdown to the Cincinnati Bengals, and they equal up the score nice and quickly. It was a great bit of run defense from Killian in the play prior, but in the end it was one of those short, kind of snappy curl routes, I think it was, that receiver was on, that just kind of finds its way in. We expected this one tonight to be back and forth, 7-7 here, with 30 seconds left of the first quarter. It's one of those, isn't it, Batty? It's either going to be a real defensive battle, or it's going to be a kind of shootout. And tonight, I think, and I think a lot of people think, that we could be on for probably the highest scoring Super Bowl in recent memory.
Yeah. What is the highest scoring one so far? Is it like 35-21 or something like that?
I think something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
We've got the VODs on YouTube somewhere, so we'll have to get that confirmed. But definitely it feels like maybe a high 40s, low 50 pointer would be the one. Well, listen, here we go again. Killian back on offense with Avery Johnson. No picks thrown in the NFC Championship game by him, which is a nice improvement compared to what we saw against the Chiefs. And look at this, Christian McCaffrey swinging left, swinging right, gets a gain of 6 in the end. I mean, tonight as well, we all know about Hughes' kind of, reputation. I mean, that's just what it is. It's the, the pinch Hughes 0, the Hughes Buck 0, and of course the mid blitz, the mid Hughes. How does Killian have to try and bypass that man blitz when it comes out tonight? Is there a specific play that he should be looking to do? Should be looking for kind of those slant plays? Does he need to be prolific in identifying the setup, the shape of the blitz if he wants to win this game?
Yeah, I think you've just got to expect heat on, 3rd and 4th down, and as a consequence of that, you're looking to hit maybe a quick slant, a speed out, a flat to your running back, or even if you need a lot of yards, like block an extra couple of people, Not quite sure how it's going to work, because I don't really know the D-line versus O-line matchup, but if you're sensing a little bit too much pressure, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts to hold either McCaffrey or George Kittle a little bit back here. But yeah, he's doing a good job of just kind of mixing it up.
Oh, and that's a huge sack. Almost lunged at him there, did Murphy. Yeah. And that is huge. 3rd and 18.
Timing on the blitz. Here you go.
Yeah.
I would guarantee it's either he's going to drop every single person in the coverage, or he's going to bring the house. And it looks like everybody's going into coverage here.
Been a huge moment, and that maybe for some would be the turning point that Hughes just about needs to grab this game now with 2 hands. Avery Johnson needs something magical here to get a first down. Where's he going to go? What's he going to find? Absolutely nothing. 4th and 18, and the first punt of the night is about to take place. Huge moment for Hughes there, Batty. Gives him a bit of momentum, gives him a bit of confidence, showing that he can stop Killian and make the night difficult for him.
Yeah, just a really nice play by Miles Murphy there, because we looked like Killian was either just going to get round him or even have a little bit of time to throw the ball away, but maybe that's the calibre of the game. You're not necessarily looking at your QB as much as you should be, and take a couple, tackle for a loss, and then force your opponent to make a 20-yard throw when the field already looks tight as it is. It's a good recipe for success, and now this is equally as important for him to capitalise on these turnovers, because we've seen throughout these playoffs that turnovers or stops do happen, but the amount of missed points is also quite a lot too.
The fair comment. Well, listen, Killian, of course, has a good defensive base, but this is where now absolutely he needs to come to the forefront. Good stop immediately for a gain of nothing. 2nd and 10 here on the 37 for Hughes, as he looks to try and maybe take advantage and get a score lead. Y looking open, and that is
Oh my
gained, and that is huge, and that is a huge touchdown for Hughes. Number 80 again, Matty, in the air, like he is prime Cristiano Ronaldo at Juventus with how far he rose there. That was something. 14-7, and that physicality, that dominance in the air from the Bengals here showing itself nice and early.
Yoshivas' second of the game.
Yeah.
He's got both
So
of them.
wide receiver 3 and tight end look to be, you know, the red zone targets, as you say, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not the usual cast of characters for the Bengals, but
No.
I mean, Andre Yoshivas pretty much is the wide receiver version of Eric Hall. So, I mean, yeah, I think Killian just needs to get back to the pace. I think the pace that he had at the start of this game, where he took about 4.5 minutes out of the clock, where he was just able to continuously move the ball with Christian McCaffrey, I think that's what he needs to get back to doing. The worst thing that you can do is set yourself in second, third, and long against Hughes, because he'll just zero blitz you into oblivion, and there's nothing you can do about it. So,
let's see what Avery Johnson can do here. Hands this one off to Christian McCaffrey and immediately drop down. No gain, no loss. 2nd and 10 on the 25. If you wanted to maybe get a test tonight and see where Killian's mentals lie, then it's going to be maybe on this possession of the ball. It would be a nightmare for Killian here if he gives the ball back to Hughes, and Hughes can make this a 21-7 game before half time. That is not what Killian needs. He needs to kind of get his movement going, got to get that kind of positive momentum in offense going again. Good news is he's got time. He's got plenty of time. 2nd and 10 hit on the 25. Avery Johnson. Where will he opt to go? Motion there being sent to the right-hand side. Avery Johnson looking underneath is there. Brandon Ayuk. Well, look at that. Maybe a little bit of a stammer and a pause there for Hughes. Are you surprised by that, Dan? Almost kind of locked onto the user and then stopped, locked onto another user, stopped. Is that just a reaction issue? What is that?
I think he wanted to try to catch Killian taking Brandon Ayuk and cutting back up the field to lay a big hit, but Killian just making sure he gets north-south and getting the sticks, doing a nice work there to not take any big hits. And,
that's a great find there to McCaffrey again.
Here, he's going to take a couple big hits, but across the 50-yard line. And now, yeah, this is the offense that Killian needs to run. It's just keep it safe, keep it simple, and that's exactly what he needs to do. Filter the run in there when he can, and keep Hughes on his toes.
Well, let's see if Hughes can respond. Of course, Hughes in the orange tonight, Killian in the white, as Killian runs through that central gap again. Small gain of 3, and every single yard is going to be appreciated. Try and make it short and manageable. I think the best thing that could happen here, Batty, do you think, is Killian scores a touchdown, we go into halftime 14-14. Is there maybe a fear in your mind that he scores here and then Hughes gets the ball back with time?
Yeah, I think looking at the area field now, he's got to be conscious about the clock, but I think it's just more important for him to get in the end zone here. And and then you can sort out the other side of the ball.
Well, we've got a big screen here now. He juked that into a Bengal there when he could have maybe just kept running the angle that he was on and got a couple more yards. 3rd and 5, not the worst thing in the world, of course. He's clearly in field goal range, so that's important to remember. Every kind of gain of points here will feel decent. I think if Killian can go in even 14-10 down and still have hope, he just can't force this football. He can't throw the ball, get an interception, or get this one fumbled. Underneath, though, that's brilliant. As I'll tell you what, though, Batty, he spun there, and we've seen it countless times. When you spin and you give your back to the defensive player, a correct time hit stick there, the ball pops out, it fumbles. That could have been a nightmare for Killian.
Yeah, someone says he's trying to get like a little bit too. I can understand that it's the Super Bowl, but maybe just a tad wee too cute on like sort of trying to gain extra yards and stuff. I know you're trying to, obviously get yards after the catch and stuff because of the game plan here, so keeping it, short, sweet underneath. But yeah, as we've seen numerous times, that spin, when connected at the right time, can make the ball fly. So he's got to be careful here.
Well, 2nd and 9.
I do like this keep the clock running offense, though.
Yeah,
you know,
I think it's important. I think
I do
definitely.
Cannot give this Bengals team time. Cannot give this Bengals team time.
Himself on that one because he could have made that play be after the 2-minute warning.
Mhm.
And instead he snapped the ball about a second too early, and there was about a half-second offset, so he had to run that play that we saw just there. So now this kind of poses the problem for Killian. We talked about him just getting this to the end of the half and tempoing the clock. Well, if he doesn't get it here, he's going to probably take his 3 points and then give Hughes 3 timeouts at about 1:55 to drive the field. So he really, really needs to convert this on 3rd down. And
Yeah.
oh, wow, here we go.
Yep, the house is coming, Dan.
Yep.
You said it was going to be eventually. Here we go. Hands this one off here. Play action to the ankles. And Brown gets that one over. 15-yard line. The pinch buck 0 for the first time tonight. Wouldn't be a Super Bowl Hughes about pinch buck 0 about you, would it?
Nah, it's either the mid or the pinch back, one of the two. But yeah, they did well to get around the outside, though. Yeah.
Well, on the 15, 1st and 10. Killian still looking for a way to equalise the score here. Ball handed off to the right-hand side. Going to go for a bit of a halfback stretch as McCaffrey going to try and use his speed and momentum. Gets it onto the 11, 2nd and 6. And I believe just gets out of bounds there.
Yeah, and I think Killian's probably going to look at this and say, right, I don't really want to get in the end zone. I want to pick up this next 6 yards. And, you know, worst case scenario, you milk the 3 timeouts out of the Bengals and then kick a field goal if you absolutely have to.
I agree with you.
But, yeah, I would be very shocked if this play is anything more than just a little bit of a screen or an inside zone or something to just keep that clock moving a little bit, considering he's gone out of bounds the last 2 plays.
Well, Logan Wilson here, the user. Let's see what he can do. He was one of the stars of last season as a handoff here and immediately chopped down onto the 12. No use of timeouts yet here from Hughes. He's confident enough that he can stop Killian and still have enough time here to get some plays moved. Maybe keeping those timeouts handy in the off chance that he can get the ball back and then can maybe move up the field to get 3 points of his own. 3rd and 7 though. Avery Johnson on the ball, needs 7 on the 12-yard line here for a fresh set of downs. Play clock here going to go all the way. Avery Johnson out on the snap. Where's he going to go? What's he looking for?
Hey.
And that is incomplete. Broken up there. Thrown into triple coverage. A little bit dangerous and risky, but it is going to give Hughes the ball back. Killian drops the deficit from 7 to 4. As this field goal is good. 14-10. Barry, what do you make of that play there? Was that overly risky for you? Do you think you should have ran the ball to keep the clock ticking like Dan said? What did you make of that 3rd down there from Killian?
I mean, yeah, it sucks it's an incompletion or whatever, but it's, I think the guy that he threw to first off was on a little bit earlier. It was like a soft spot in the coverage, so I think he's kind of seen that, and then by the time he's thrown it, there's a guy in his face. But yeah, it sucks, but at the same time, even if he gets the first down, you know, the Bengals can just go timeout, and then kind of, you know, maybe he's got 45 seconds and no timeouts, but it's still the sort of same situation here. You've not, oh wow.
Oh, it's red time that it's complete. Well, there you go. That's the glory of having Joe Burrow in your team. Said season 4, 2025 in-game MVP. He's got to be at least a 98, 99 overall by this point, and sometimes you're going to get away with that when you're so high overall, you're so high rated. Even red timing isn't going to stop you. Here on the 49, though, 30 seconds remaining. No timeouts from Hughes yet, which is interesting to me as he misses that one, and that one goes out now onto the 40. 23 seconds remaining. 3 timeouts here. Hughes going for blood here, Dan. Looks like he believes and wants another 7 points before the half-time mark.
Yeah, I think Killian's probably going to be a little bit pissed off about that one because his guy definitely should have gotten the tackle inbounds, at least forced a timeout out of the Bengals. But Now Hughes has a chance, and
And there's yep, there it is, and that's going to be a touchdown. Eric All Jr. again. You can't stop this physical specimen of a tight end. Back. The 11-point lead has been re-established. Eric All Jr. is everywhere. 18 touchdowns in the regular season, and it looks like that number is going to continue to climb here in this playoff picture and in this Super Bowl tonight. He's just too physical. Killian can't stop him.
Yeah, I think it's just a really big kind of mismatch here in the middle of the field. Killian's players just like not able to compete with that jump ball at the minute, but yeah, it's just good patience and good blocking by this Bengals O-line has enabled them to get off these throws. You know, Killian, maybe you can get 3 here and it doesn't look as bad, but a tall ask, I know, but yeah, I think game plan second half is to just send a little bit more pressure and kind of force Joe Burrow to make a decision a wee bit quicker than he currently is.
I think definitely, you've got 11 seconds, you've got to go and try and get one big gain here. You want 3 yards. Every Johnson launches, and that is incomplete as he tries to test that structure of the Bengals defense. I mean, Dan, you played against the Bengals. We can speak now because we're on commentary. Is there a weak part of this Bengals defense for Hughes?
You just have to keep him on his toes. I mean, if the run game has to stay alive, and I know that's kind of tough to do when you're down by 11, but there's 2 quarters to go, and you know, play to your own tempo is probably the best thing that Killian can do. It's don't make silly decisions like this one.
Oh, he's got the PI though, Dan. He's got the PI. The flag went up.
Is that going to be PI?
I think it could be.
I don't know if it's offensive.
Oh no, Hughes doesn't get PI all that often. I would know.
It's PI. There you go.
All right.
So he's going to get the field goal.
He's got a free field goal.
There you go. It works like a charm. Killian maybe getting a little bit of assistance there, Batty, for the end of the half, but you take it when it appears.
You absolutely fucking take it. Yeah. You take that and run away with it.
He's got to convert it though. It's not confirmed yet. 52 yards. As this one sails forward, and there you go. 8-point game. So where it was looking quite iffy on an 11-point game, it's now reduced back down to 8. So touchdown, a 2-point conversion. Killian's got this game back up. Difficulty for Killian here though, you two, is that Hughes starts with the ball. Killian so far tonight has not been able to stop Hughes. He's not been able to keep Eric All Jr. quiet. That's going to be the mission here.
Absolutely going to be the mission here, and I think you'll maybe see a bit of a change in pace from Hughes here. You'll probably see Chase Brown get involved a wee bit more, keep it underneath, keep the clock running. Yeah, because I think the Bengals takes good 3-4 minutes off the clock here and gets in the end zone. It's looking pretty bleak for Killian, but yeah, I think if you're also the Bengals, you've got to expect this Niners team to be coming at you at every single play now.
Well, that's a good start though, and a gain of 2 on the run. Killian using the weapon against the master there, down the pinch buck 0 coming out against Hughes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that for right here, it's Hughes just needs to continue to move the ball. It doesn't have to be all the explosive plays that we've seen, you know, in the first half. But I think for Killian, it's just a matter of he needs one. Yeah, he needs one stop. That's all he needs. Whether it's this drive, whether it's the next drive, he just needs to stay in touching distance so that when Hughes does make a mistake, he's there to capitalize on it. But so far, I mean, 3rd and 1, Hughes is just about automatic in this position.
Well, 3rd and 1 on the 39. Hughes needing to get 1 yard, and that's not going to work. And that's 4th and 5. And that there, the big stop that maybe you, Dan, alluded to that he needed. Hughes now onto the 35, and it's a great start for Killian, forcing the punt. A screen Batty on 3rd and 1. I don't know about that.
Very Patriots play call though. It's sometimes can work in your favour. You know, I don't understand why you wouldn't just try and punch it in with Chase Brown if you're going to make a call like that. But maybe he was just trying to keep, you know. I mean, it's so like you wouldn't expect it, I don't think, if you're Killian. So maybe that was like Hughes's play call there. Maybe it's like, he's not going to expect me to screen it on third down. Let's see if I can get something out of this. But yeah, backfired. But still got a bit of a lead to play with if you Hughes. But yeah, fantastic for Killian. That'll give you, you know, right at the start of the second half too. That's a massive confidence boost for the Niners.
I was going to say as well, but do you think we need to see maybe a bit more from that from both parties tonight, breaking the traditions, the norms of football, where you talk about maybe, you know, screens on third down? I did it against Killian. I ran the ball on 2nd and 19 and got a 17-yard gain earlier on. Do we need to see both of these two doing that? Something kind of out there, wacky?
Yeah, you've got to.
That's great work.
Oh, that's great blocks there. Christian McCaffrey, huge gain of 14 yards up to the 40. As the magic man of San Fran keeps on going. And I think this is important as well, isn't it? Just short and sharp gains. More so, I think Killian was one of those players stylistically, gameplay-wise, Dan, where, you know, he's more focused on the yards after the catch rather than the catch being the main point of the yardage.
Yeah, and that's what the 49ers team is built off of. You don't get guys like Christian McCaffrey and Brandon Ayuk to just go and run a ton of routes. You're getting them to get the ball in their hand, and Deebo Samuel is a perfect example of it.
And Killian with the 49ers with a textbook 49er play by a touchdown. Deebo Samuel, not the fastest wide receiver, but a physical specimen, uses the juke well, gets the touchdown. This game went from being an 11-point game to an 8-point game. Now we're talking about maybe a potential tie game, 21-19. Let's see if Killian goes for the 2, which of course he says, I will.
Yeah, just how perfectly Dan called that there. Like, that is the absolute definition of 49ers football there. You know, kind of backside dig coming across the field, get it in your playmaker in space, rely on your blocking downfield, and it's in the house. So
he's going to go here. That's going to be just short, 21-19, but still not a reason to be disappointed, Dan. He's done excellent there to stop Hughes, to get the 6 points, a 2-point game. That's going to give Hughes a little bit of a wobble in his confidence now, isn't it? Because now it's like, oh, okay, now I kind of need to get the ball up there and score. There's going to be a pressure on the Cincinnati Bengals to recover from that sloppy and slow start to the second half.
Yeah, I think Hughes just needs to kind of put it back to where he was when he finished the first half. I think he was extremely conservative there, and, you know, kind of alluded to it. I don't think a screen with Joe Burrow on 3rd and 1 is probably the way you want to go. You know, Tyreek Williams has had a real rough game in this one, and Nick Bosa hasn't really been a factor at all on this 49ers defensive line. This has been a masterclass of the trenches so far. I really don't like this. Jamar Chase is on a streak in the slot. This could go poorly very quickly. He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. He was, yeah. I tell you what, if he saw that, Dan, you called that brilliantly again. Jamar Chase was absolutely role-playing Tyreek Hill of how fast he released there, but luckily enough, Hughes didn't see it. Do you think so far from what we've seen in this near 3 quarters of football, Dan, does it look like the 49ers are missing the strong safety Hufanga, or do they look like, does Killian look like he's coping without him?
No, I think the for a positional sense, it's been perfectly fine. I just think the play calling so far is just don't get beat over the top. And when you don't get beat over the top, Hughes can just pick. Oh
my goodness me! Well, again, we talked about it, didn't we?
He can do that. It's a lot of that, and he can just. He's more than fine with just throwing it to get 5 yards, throwing it to get 4 yards, throwing it to get 9 yards, and he'll just. It's, you know, death by 1,000 cuts. And at some point, you got to come after him and get down. I know Jamar Chase is there. He's a big threat, but, you know, you got to commit guys to the run. You got to commit guys to the
run. He's getting cooked on the run now again. Look at him. He goes again. Yeah. Chase Brown looks like he's got the Iron Man suit on here, Matt. He just keeps eating the first tackle and getting a couple yards and then going down. But that run game now, like Dan said, to be fair, at halftime, he said Hughes needed them to get into that run game again. And he's doing that. Chase Brown coming alive, and Chase Brown providing a different avenue of attack here so far as he looks to be on his mark again. This one here handed off right through that hole here, but dropped down this time. No gain on the 21 and an injury here for the 49ers.
Yeah, not ideal there, but yeah, I think you gotta probably expect, you know, Chase Brown to get a wee bit more work here. So, mate, I think Killian can come to like maybe bring like the weak side safety down into the box, and you know that way that if the linebacker does get blocked because he's lost a few yards there, or potential tackles. That's a tight window. Holy.
That was a tight window indeed, but again, Hughes needs to make sure he can get this 1 yard. 3rd and 1 has been maybe cursed territory for him so far. Walk away with this, you know, being only a field goal, then Killian's going to be licking his lips here. 1 yard needed. 12-yard line is where we are. Let's see if he can find a way to get this ball over the line, and then some for 7.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to be that RPO to the right side. There it is. Great there from Eric Jr. who spins, but 2 49ers meet him on that side. Pec strain there for Gross Matos. Is that a big one for you two, or not too significant?
It's not Nick Bosa, so I think he's alright. But, you know, it's probably, yeah, I'd imagine low mid-80s in rating now.
Oh, Chase Brown again, by the way. Jesus, only gets a gain of 1. 2nd and goal onto the 6.
Something we haven't touched on either is the fact that Hughes, in this drive, in this position, can really just kill off the quarter.
He can.
And, you know, if he finds his way into the end zone, I think we're really looking at go time for...
Zig route on the left-hand side scares me. Yep, there's the zig route. And he's short. 3rd and goal on the 2.
0 flat, yeah. Just zero flat, played a little bit too low there for Killian.
Nope.
I think Killian probably would have wanted Jair Brown to maybe have a jump at that.
Yeah, I would be shouting.
Well, this is huge here, because if Killian can get a stop here and he gets a similar kind of curl concept that we saw.
Exact same play,
exact same option, Dan, as number 80 gets it again. Is that good luck short post has worked a charm. 27-19 with this PAT. It will go to 28-19. The lead there has been extended again. Good news though, it's only a lead of 9 points, so still easily achievable, Dan and Batty, with 1 quarter of football to go. Killian needs to get up the field and then needs to get a stop, and then he can win this football game. The worst thing that can happen here is an interception, a fumble that gives Hughes the ball back. Still in Killian's hands, but with time running out, maybe for 49ers supporters, you're going to start to feel a little bit iffy about your man's ability to get this one over the line. Let's see.
Yeah. Don't be too surprised to see Avery Johnson start to get his legs in motion too.
Oh, McCaffrey going and out to the 37. That is a huge gain, and another San Francisco 49er injury. Who's that now?
Are you ready to go? Are you loosened
70.
up? But even more so, are you mentally alert and ready to put
DJ Glaze, the right tackle.
He had Hufanga out in the NFC Championship game. And again, for Hughes, you can really argue he's had a little bit of a fortunate injury run, or lack thereof, in this playoff picture. I don't think any injuries for the Bengals that are significant at all in this kind of playoff run. And that's it's incomplete. 2nd and 10. Broken ribs, not bruised ribs, broken ribs for DJ Glaze. So the offensive lineman there very much feeling the scars of the game, but 2nd and 10. Would you challenge that, Batty? Would you, or would that clear out for you?
Nah, I think that's by looking at it there. I think Ayuk's kind of sold him a little bit there, but
that's
coverage,
huge pressure, and that's 3rd and 23. There's the sack, there's the pressure, and that there, Dan, that's going to feel like for Hughes in his position, like a touchdown in itself. Huge.
Yeah, the worst part of all of that is he's been pushed out of field goal range. Now he could have at least made it a 1-possession game. Now it's, you know, you need about 15 yards here to kind of get you back in that territory. So I don't think Killian really expected man coverage there. I mean, obviously coming out and Hughes coming out in base every play doesn't really help that. But you know. with as often as Hughes runs man, it's, you know, you're more likely to see Spurs win the title, right? So I think for Killian, you're just looking at it, and here you go, mid-blitz. He's going to need something quick and a lot after the catch.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see if he can get an option. The blitz is coming. The house is coming. He drops Wilson back into coverage there. Can he find yards? He would take a field goal all day, every day. It's just about can he get the yardage for a field goal. And he's Bengals calling a timeout there. So what do you think? You think maybe that scared him a little bit? You think maybe he wanted to pull out of the blitz? It looks like he is, because now we're back into zone here.
I think Hughes is maybe just okay with potentially giving up 3 here, and you know, with this explosive players that the Niners have, one cut could completely send them to the house. So I don't mind that from Hughes.
50-yard line. Killian here, making adjustments. Needs yards to make that field goal manageable. Avery Johnson, where's he going to go? Avery Johnson, he's going to use his legs here. He's going to use his legs. He's going here. He's gone for a huge gain here. He's going to keep going. Avery Johnson, a tackle down 34-yard line, and that's field goal territory, Dan. So that's a win in the 49ers books. Going to take the game back down to a 6-point lead, which means as well, mate, we could be on for a bit of a shootout. Clock gets drained here. Killian wins the ball back. He could win the game by 1 point if all things go correctly.
Yeah, it also means that, you know, the Bengals probably needs, you'd argue, you know, a good 3 minutes and a field goal, and it might be over as well.
Either need
so
to stretch the clock, get a field goal, or a touchdown kills this game for me.
Yeah, I think clock, honestly, is probably more Hughes' concern at the minute than the TD itself.
Do you think the big concern, though, from Hughes' perspective, Matty, if you're looking at this, is does he start to go too conservative too early? He still needs to throw this football, doesn't he? He can't just sit here and run now, can he? He has to keep throwing the ball.
I think, yeah, you've got to. It's not like you know, the last drive that he's going to have. So I think you need to absolutely.
How's that not intentional grounding?
I think he's
actually just throwing it high. Yeah.
I think he's going for Chase Brown, and he's gotten hit while throwing it, and it's just it hit the old grandmother in row H. So.
There.
Yeah.
I thought for sure that was going to get called for intentional grounding. I can't lie to you.
Yeah.
It's also there's like no receiver in the vicinity as well, right? So because it's yeah.
Well, let's see what he can do as the audibles are being considered here. It looks like it was a fake audible here. Run from Chase Brown right through the pocket, but drop down. That's a good start, Matty and Dan. 3rd and 9 on the 31. Killian's defense here activating it. Activated against myself in the 4th quarter really, really well. And it seems like it's happening here again. 6 minutes on the clock. Hughes now, for the first time, Matty, one of the critical, crucial 3rd downs of his game.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like a biggest down of the game so far for Hughes. Absolutely.
Keep your eyes on that slant and that streak. That's what I'm looking at. What gets open first? Oh, and that's going to be incomplete. 4th and 9 on the 31.
Wow.
And Hughes is now going to be forced into defense and just lean on forward here, fellas, because this game, which looked like it could have been over and done at the end of the first half of 11-point differential, is now getting very, very interesting. 6-point game. Killian with 5:38 on the clock. Dan, can Killian bleed this clock out and make this the last possession of the game, or is it just too much?
Anything's possible with Christian McCaffrey. I think that Christian McCaffrey is going to be the guy here. Look at Kyle Juszczyk in the backfield too, potentially getting the ball in his hands. And it's just going to be a big thing of exactly this. It doesn't have to be pretty on 1st down, but going forward, north-south, picking up 3-4 yards each down, and not allowing Hughes to kind of get into that pinch buck mid-blitz nonsense that he likes to do, and just keep the ball moving, keep the clock moving. Something short here.
Well, I'll tell you what, the underneath there was absolutely
He
covered.
had
And
the dig route coming back over too.
yeah, I think Killian's eyes were drifting towards that left-hand side underneath drag, and then of course he saw it covered, went to the right, didn't maybe see the guy out of frame come across. But here we go then. The pinch buck is coming. The house is coming. Killian will know that. No men in the backfield, and this could be where danger comes. Avery Johnson, got to be careful, and that's 4th and 4. And now the decision: do you go for this?
I think you got to send this one away. You've proven to yourself that 2 or 3 times this game you can stop Hughes on offense.
He is going to send it.
Big punt.
Yeah, you gotta give yourself a chance.
If he fake
don't,
punts this back,
you
I'll
didn't
fucking
pick this
scream, by
right
the
here.
way. Oh.
Mailbag threw an absolute dime of a fake punt against me, so I might start doing it more, honestly.
Well,
Fucking
I fake punted
blue
Hughes
time
earlier.
throw with the fucking punter.
punt here onto the 32. So with that, 5 minutes exactly on the clock. Killian again putting himself in a situation where he knows that realistically he has to stop Hughes. He did it once in this same quarter. He's got to do it again. As it looks like Chase Brown is coming back to the forefront here. Watch that gap towards the left-hand side as that one runs through the middle this time using the blockers of Cincinnati. Great work there. Those blockers have been phenomenal all season. People have said just to stop Hughes' run game is almost impossible because it's almost like an entourage of Bengals around Chase Brown when he runs, and that's where the success comes from, that incredible stopping power that Hughes has. But 2nd and 5, 37-yard line, and you can feel now about that Hughes is going to try and slow this game all the way down, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's be looking about 5 yards at a time here, I dare say. Creating these
That
wacky
zig
concepts
looks
he
nice
likes
on
to make, yeah.
wide open, but that
wow.
there, huge pressure. 3rd and 5, the pinch buck 0 this time coming out and giving Hughes problems himself.
Yep.
So again, 3rd and 5, another crucial 3rd down for Hughes. It was 3rd and 9 before. A little bit easier this time round. Killian, if you can stop him again, then you have another opportunity to win this football game, to end the Super Bowl curse. I worry though about that streak on All Junior. I really do.
Oh.
And that's going to be easy peasy as Jamal Chase gets that one in. 48-yard line, and we're approaching field goal territory. That is not good news if you're Killian, of course. Still alive it. And I think this now though is where we're going to start to see the run game, just nothing but the run game coming. Let's look at this, into field goal range he goes, and now Hughes will sit here and, well, there's a timeout. Well, no, the timeout got called earlier on by the Bengals. I think now all you're going to see from Hughes here, batting down, is run, make Killian maybe use his timeouts, because again, if you get 3 points here, you make it 31-22, it's 9 points, and then you're talking about maybe the 2-minute warning being the limit here. So Killian is running out of time. There's another run here, drops down onto the 35, 2nd and 8. As that hammer blast stops the run instantly. I would be mortified if Hughes threw the ball here, Matty. Do you agree or not?
Yeah, I think Killian's main play now is to make it 3rd and long and try and get Hughes to throw the ball. And then potentially, maybe get a sack off it to take him out of field goal range. But I think Hughes isn't experienced enough that that's, not really gonna be a call that he's gonna make.
Oh,
But,
Fred Warner, fucking hell almighty, that's a hit.
I mean, if he's not got a broken back,
his legs are gone. Look, he can't even stand up.
yeah.
His vertebrae smashed into mashed potato. And for Hughes again now, 3rd and 7, but again, I don't like. I think realistically, he scores a field goal here. Isn't it over for you two? Am I being pessimistic? Scores here, 31-22, 9 points, 2 minutes. It just feels like he's going to lose this game by 2 points here tonight. This Killian.
Yeah, I think it's.
You're gonna look to throw here. This is
playing.
okay. So
Yeah.
it's like a motion zig, isn't it? It is. Look at A. No, over the middle, and there you go. T. Higgins eats one, eats a second, down onto the 14, and with that, it does certainly look like Batty and Scarata that Killian's long-awaited journey for a Super Bowl. Yeah, he has. Well, he has to, but we know Killian like we do. his head's going to be maybe down in the dumps here, Dan, is maybe wait for a Super Bowl. It's going to have to continue. 2-minute warning. Hughes inches away from being the first ever European to win the Super Bowl, but also the first Welshman to win the Super Bowl, and will add another black mark onto Killian's name when it comes to the ultimate game. He'll be 0-3 now in Super Bowl games. Runs this one off through the middle as Chase Brown dropped down onto the 8. Timeout called. And I mean, it's just so gut-wrenching for Killian, isn't it, Patty? Because you get there once and you lose. Okay, you get there twice and you lose. It's annoying. You get there a third time where the guy that's beat you twice before is no longer in. I mean, how do you rebound from this? How does Killian kind of go into next season and cope with this? There were rumors that maybe he would.
I was just gonna say, I don't think it's like any sort of copium or anything, but like I don't really think his team was in a position where he thought he was gonna get to this game.
I think you're right.
You know, I remember talking to him at the start of the season. He was like, "Yeah, I'll probably go like 9-8, 8-9, right?" And then he's got the 2. He literally held the 1 seed until the final week. You know, and he's got to this game again, and I think when you look at the Bengals compared to the Niners in terms of like roster from top to bottom, I don't think it's even fucking close. I could be wrong, but with the amount of, you know, sort of, you know, financial marriage the previous owner had, there's you know, a lot of the shout out Dio, like
spent all the 49ers cap on weed. God bless him. Carry on.
Yeah. Setting up
What
his
happens in
grow farm,
Vegas
man.
stays in Vegas.
It's so I don't. Obviously, it sucks. You go to the game and you're gonna lose. I mean, still not signed, sealed, delivered yet, but you know, pretty precarious position.
Wow. And he's getting closer and closer towards a touchdown now. No timeouts remaining, and you'd think here Hughes will probably just whack chew clock on and seal this one out. I mean, there were rumors swirling around, you know, the league. Would Killian retire after this one? There was one rumor saying that he needed a break. He didn't want to really do, you know, the end of Madden 25, and he was burnt out. Is he? Isn't he? You'd hope not, because I mean, he's got so much still to give with this 49ers team, and I have to agree with you, Bay. His team isn't in a direct, I think, position yet to challenge. When you look at the overall strength of this Bengals team, as that touchdown goes in, and that will secure it and seal it. Hughes 96 and the Bengals with a touchdown to make it a 13-point difference. And that Super Bowl tonight will be draped in black and orange. Joe Burrow, last season's MVP, will have it. He couldn't get it done when he had Mike Gesicki, but the main weapon this season has not been Jamar Chase. It's not been Chase Brown. It's been Eric All Jr. 18 regular season touchdowns, a couple here tonight. He's built the team the physical way, and he is very much one of the names to watch, not just for the remainder of Madden 25, Bay, but for Madden 26. He's firmly established himself now as one of the kind of big three, one of the big four. He's done what a lot of people expected Pickens to do before him. So you can maybe argue that maybe Hughes is in that kind of top 2, top 3 conversation now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you win one of them and you're the first European to do it, then in my eyes you're the best European in the suburb.
Yeah.
So nobody else has done it yet, have they? So, and we kind of battled out to beat Dave to get the 1 seed as well. Like, you can't argue with it. You've had a pretty, you know, average run to the playoffs. I don't quite think it's like the gauntlet that we all expected, but you had a gauntlet of the season. Think about the players he's played, you know. So, and he's been one of these guys where his game's just sort of developed every sort of, you know, 2 weeks as the season's gone on. You know, even this season, like at the start, he didn't look anywhere near the player he's kind of looked towards the end. So, yeah, he's putting in the time and effort, and it's paid off.
That's been the thing, hasn't it, Dan? Just from that one there, that snapshot there, it's been the physicality in the air for the Bengals tonight. It really has. Every single contested throw, every single throw in traffic, whether it be defensive or offensive, has always gone the Bengals' way. This team is just a specimen when it's in flight. Makes you wonder, what does Hughes actually need to improve? over at Cincinnati. There's not much. Launches that one, and that's going to be incomplete, broken up there. So that's a little bit fortunate. But I will say this, you know, I do hope, I seriously mean it, I do hope that we do get to see Killian again stay at San Francisco next season and for the remainder of Madden 25. You can never make anyone sit and stay, and of course, you know, for some people, maybe not Killian, maybe Killian. For some people, 3 Super Bowls, 0-3 would be enough to kind of tip you over the edge. Everyone's different, but a huge throw here, and that one is intercepted, and that's ball game. Game, set, and match. Hughes, 96, the first Welshman to do it, the first European to do it. He is bringing home that Lombardi trophy. The Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow, Eric All Jr., Jamar Chase, Chase Brown, and the star-studded cast write themselves into the history books. Super Bowl 5 hops in the jet and heads over to Cardiff, Wales for the first time in its history. And congratulations to Hughes as well. A fantastic season. People can say what they want about the blitzes, and people can say about the way that he plays is not ideal. It's cheesy, this, meta, that, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, you know, he has had rule violations in the past, yes, but he's played clean tonight. Maybe not the preferred winner from so many people, but the Cincinnati Bengals, your Season 5, your Super Bowl 5 winners here tonight. They take it 35-22. And for Killian, he goes to 0-3 for Super Bowl games. The wait goes on for that fan favorite. For Hughes, I don't know what you improve now. Your team is so good. Do you have gaps with free agency coming up? Do you not? Only he knows. But there's the Lombardi trophy being delivered there to the Cincinnati Bengals. And tonight, Hughes will have that bragging right, being the first ever European to do it. In Matt Stuter's own words, being the best European in the survey, you could argue. And there it is. The Cincinnati Bengals with a Super Bowl. Hughes 96 with a Super Bowl. You get to maybe pick out one player, Batty, for the Bengals in that game that maybe made the difference, defensively or offensively. Who are you going with?
It's got to be Arashivas for me, I think. I remember, you know, he's come away with a couple of touchdowns, a couple of, you know, kind of big 50-50 ball. It was more, you know, the two bigger, I mean, I know T. Higgins is big as well, but yeah, Arashivas and Eric Hall Jr., I'd say, kind of, it's hard because there wasn't really anybody that had a bad game for him. You know, I think he could even give it to his fucking centre or his left guard. Yeah. You know, with the run blocking that he was getting. So yeah, it's don't really think anyone in the team put foot wrong. But yeah, I'd give it to Arashivas, I think, if I was to give it to anybody.
And Dan, I mean, for you, you look back at that Killian performance and say he did, I don't know, maybe something crucially wrong that swayed the game. Do you think it was just a perfectly executed game plan from the Bengals and Hughes tonight, and there was not much that Killian could do about it?
It's hard to say. I think that Killian, I think on defense, maybe should have been just a little bit more aggressive. I think we alluded to it kind of midway through the second half, where it's, you know, if Hughes is going to beat you, make him beat you deep. He's got the players to do it, but he refuses to use them. I mean, we saw the one play where Killian pressed down and Jamar Chase was butt booty naked headed to the end zone, and he just doesn't throw it. So it tells you where his eyes are for the entire game, and I think Killian's going to look back and say, yeah, maybe I should have, you know, pressed down a little bit more and, you know, shade underneath and just take away the underneath option. If he's going to beat me on a big play. But yeah, I do have a question for you two, since you're big WWE heads. What typically happens after the heel wins the title?
Oh, right. The arena boos and starts to throw shit in the ring.
I'll explain this one. Okay. What happens is draft tonight, 2 hours, draft tonight.
Okay, thanks, Ryan. Thank you, Commissioner Ryan, as always. It's an intriguing one now, because of course Hughes makes that history. No one, European or American, Batty has also ever defended the Super Bowl now, so maybe he wants to go for a bit of double history, successfully defend the Super Bowl, and say I'm the first person to do that as well. It's tricky, it's difficult. You go through the winners now in order. Dave, Vape, Noof, Dave, and now Hughes 96 joins that elite list. Can he defend it? Can he successfully be the first one to do it?
I think he can, yeah. I think, but I also think that this is gonna kind of not so much like I think inspires a strong word, but maybe like to the other Europeans in the league make it seem doable. You know, you've beaten the immovable object, and Dave, we've seen that upsets do happen, and as long as you're just solid on both sides of the ball, you can absolutely make the big game or even win it. So, yeah, it's I don't know if he's the favourite going into next year. You're going to be favourite over a guy that's won it twice, probably not. But he's, as you say, he's probably cementing himself in top one or top three, top two players in the league for sure. So, yeah, he'll definitely be up there.
Well, there you go. For now, though, fellas, that's it. Season 5 wrapped up. The re-sign period will be tonight. As we said, if you're in the franchise league, make sure you tick the message. If you're up for an early advance to free agency stage 1, then yes, the draft will not be tonight. Ignore Messiah. The franchise league draft will be Saturday night.
Tonight.
No, Saturday night. So in around 6 days from now.
Sunday night.
After, not. No, we're not doing tomorrow. No, we're not doing tonight. Stop it. You gotta stop. Overall, though, a great season. We sped through it. The 3-game-a-week structure in the franchise league worked like a charm. We had fast advances. We've actually finished, if I'm not mistaken, I think about a week and a half, 2 weeks early. So that's how good it's been. Of course, the fantasy league will continue onwards. I think if there are games to watch tomorrow night on stream, they will be fantasy league games. They've gone into week 11 tonight. But overall, yeah, I feel for Killian because, again, 3 Super Bowls and 3 losses is rough. 2 Super Bowls now in a row that he's made that he's lost. I just hope he continues because he's such a positive player to have. I think he's done wonders with that Carolina Panthers team to make it compete last season, to take that 49ers team, which again, as Batty said, wasn't really ready for a Super Bowl push, and to get it into this game is massive. You just hope he continues. But again, you know, I guess time will tell, and hopefully it's the right decision. Thank you as well to Ryan. Nice to see you in here, man. Thank you for the follow and the sub as well. And also Chase, who I know you from the FIFA side. Thank you for the follow an hour ago if you're still in there. And also Cabbage as well, resub there from you as well. Fellas, beyond that, I've got nothing else for you. Need anything on Discord, hit me. But for the franchise league, we are now in off season. What I can tell you is that we're planning to have season 6, the 2027 season, game week 1, Monday the 14th of April. We don't want there to be any dilly-dally. We want to go straight in. So, yeah, looking forward to it. Can Hughes defend it? We'll wait and see. Congratulations once again to Hughes. Commiserations to Killian. The Cincinnati Bengals have won the Super Bowl. Congratulations. Good night. And we'll see you for season 6. Laters.